Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Ninja Chickens channel, where we chat about knitting, fiber-related things, natural dyeing, homesteading, homeschooling, all kinds of stuff. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome back if you've been here before. Thanks for trying me out if you're new. My name's Maria. You can find me on Instagram as ninja.chickens. You can find me on Ravelry as Ninja Chickens, and you can find all the show notes on ninjachickens.org and the Ravelry group, Ninja Chickens Ravelry group. I have lots to talk to you guys about today. It is a very overcast day in the Appalachian Mountains where I'm coming to. The air feels heavy, if you know what I mean. It feels like it's about to dump rain. So I'm hoping it'll hold out before I'm done. It doesn't feel like it's going to dump just yet, but probably this afternoon I think we'll have a nice storm. We've been needing it. It's been a little bit dry, but Leaf is at camp. My son is at camp this whole week at an outdoor camp. So every day he comes home completely covered in mud and totally wet, and I take off his boots and just dump them out. It's really gross. But he's having a blast, and he's sleeping well at night because he's so exhausted. So he's at camp right now. Hopefully it'll stay dry enough for them. I picked some flowers for you today. Let me show them to you. I was talking in past episodes about how I was tired of growing vegetables because they just don't grow well on our side of the mountain because we're on the north side and there's a lot of shade. So I was growing flowers this year. So I grew lots of dahlias. Aren't they gorgeous? Look at the color of this one. Look at that red. So these guys make me so happy. I go out every morning and just walk around and thank them. You guys are so pretty. Thank you. So I picked some for you so you'd have a little color in the background. Let's see. There we go. So let's get started. My first thing I wanted to talk about is my finished object. I was telling you about my Claire pattern in the last episode, and I finished it, and it's blocked, and it's done. And here it is. So this is it. It's the same in the back and the front. And you can turn it also to wear it like that. So I love it. I love how it turned out. I like how open it is. I think it's going to be really nice for, fall and spring weather as well as winter and warmer places, which is what I did it for since my mom goes down to Florida in the winter. So I think she'll like it. I used Quince Company's Sparrow yarn. And it's in test knitting right now. I just got it back from the tech editor. I do both. Pattern design wise, I'll send it to a tech editor to have them look over the details, and then I also send it to test knitters to make sure that it flows, to make sure that they catch any errors, and so that way when it goes out there, hopefully it's good to go and it will be easy to read and technically sound. So it's a pretty simple pattern, pretty short pattern, so hopefully I'm hoping to have it out on September 18th, which is my mother's birthday, and that way I can give it to her and release the pattern. So I'm excited about it. I hope you guys like it. I don't have any, well, I do kind of have a finished object, but I'll get to that, another finished object, but I'll get to that with natural dyeing. I'm working on just a couple of things, really. Let's see, I did put a few repeats on the Modern Dye Hap. It's the one where I'm doing 71 repeats of a border before I start the center, but it kind of still looks the same, so I won't show you that one. Let's see. The other thing I've been doing is I started on the socks with one of my eco-printed sock blanks, just because it's fun to do them every so often, see how they're working up, and I'm almost done. So this was one of my botanically printed sock blanks. Here they are. They've got little heels. Of course, whenever you're knitting with a sock blank, it's going to have that crimp to it. But then once you block it, that pretty much goes away, and it's the same. you can see, let's see, I was a little more relaxed around this part of the sock because it's nice and loose. And then all the rest of it is super tight, but on both of them, it's a lot more relaxed right here. So, um, yeah, hopefully that blocks out. It's not too big of a deal. And I put them on and it's not like it's obvious, but I thought that was kind of funny how, especially when you're knitting and stockinette around in a circle, you can really tell when you're stressed or when you're chill because it shows in your socks. It shows in the final product. So here's what's left of, I've got this one and then another piece of the same size. Let's see. Yeah. So I've still got lots left. I'll probably make them a little bit longer and then make a long cuff. And maybe what's left of this I'll be able to put in my crochet blanket. But yeah, I love the way the blue is popping. I can't remember what this one was. I think this might have been pincushion flower. Or it could have been hollyhock. I did them both around the same time. So yeah, so that's really the only work in progress I have to show you. I finished the Claire. I haven't done anything on my granny stripe blanket because I forced myself to just put it away for a while because it was so addictive. That's all I wanted to do, and I really wanted to finish this. So this is mostly what I worked on because it's just a very long rectangle, so you just have to keep going until it's long enough. I did do a lot of eco printing. Sometimes I say eco printing, sometimes I say botanical printing. I'm kind of trying to go to the botanical because I like the way it sounds better. But there's also been on Facebook groups and other groups that I'm a part of this discussion back and forth about, well, what does eco really mean? Because some eco printers are using chemicals that they shouldn't be using, and eco is supposed to be ecological and good for the environment, and you can't call it eco printing if you're not, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going for botanical because that explains it better anyway. It's plant printing. So that's what I've been using, if you hear me saying either. But the first thing I wanted to show you is a finished object. I have talked about the course that I'm taking with the Wild Diary, which is a UK-based woman. Her name's Justine, and she's a natural dyer and has a class on, well, there are 3 separate sections, and the second section that we just took was about eco-printing, botanical printing. And one of the things we did was to take all of the samples that we used and make a dress out of it. So it looks massive, but you can take it and scrunch it up in the middle with a nice belt, and I'll put some pictures in, and all of the samples are in one place so I can show it off as I wear it. I love this one with the orange and the eucalyptus and the black walnut right there. Yeah, I think it turned out beautifully, and I didn't realize how much it kind of looked like a Greek, I don't know, like the not a toga, but a traditional outfit you would see in the myth stories. So it makes me feel like a goddess when I wear it, and it's silk, so how could you not? But I really like it. I'm teaching a class this coming week in Maine, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit, and I'm going to wear this, and that way I can say, okay, so these are the different methods of eco printing, and this is how you do this one, and that's how you do that one. It'll just be fun to show off all the different techniques you can use. So that is my finished object for that. Let's see, the other botanical printing I've been doing has been for a project that I'm doing with a friend. My friend Ashley, who runs Twist Fiber Studio, she's a fiber and yarn dyer as well as a project bag maker. And she asked me if I would be interested in collaborating on some botanically printed project bags. And at first I was like, yes, that'd be awesome. And then I thought, oh wait, how many things do you have on your plate? Can you do this? And then I thought, who cares? I want a botanically printed project bag. So, and really it wasn't as much as I thought it would be. I was able to get it all done in a reasonable amount of time. But We did some testing of different types of cotton, different weight cotton, to see which ones would take the dye best and have the most crisp prints. And then she got me a bunch of fabric so I can print them all up. So I have just finished washing them. I'll show you a few of these. And I'm going to get them to her today or tomorrow, and she's going to start working on the bags. We are hoping to have the bags out September 1st. And it's going to be a very limited run because there's only so many that we can do. But there's going to be a lightweight and a heavyweight and 2 different size bags. So here's some of it. This is the lighter weight cotton. Of course, it'll be ironed, and the we are really planning on the bags just, oh, how do I say it? Really going together. Like the idea that she has for the fabrics for the bottom and the handles and all of that, and how we put it together. We're hoping it's something that you can actually even use for a purse if you wanted. It's going to be sturdy. It's going to be solid and really well put together, I think. So I'm excited about these. So there's some that are white, and then there's some that have a purple background too. I used some logwood. Let's see. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Let's see if I can find the one that has a fern in it. I don't know if it's this one or not. Oh, that does have some. I'm just so excited with how these turned out. Cotton does not take prints as well as silk or wool. So I'm thrilled with how well these have done. And I can't, like I said, I can't wait to show you the finished product. We'll have some in my Etsy store, and we'll have some in her store. And so one of the ways that I get color onto the fabric is to use a blanket, is what it's called, the term, and you can dip it in whatever color you want, or iron, or some other modifier, something to change the print, and then you cover your fabric with it and roll it up when you bundle it. So this is the fabric I'm using. I put the plants on it. I covered it with a logwood blanket. So I used some old bed sheets and I ripped them up, and I dipped them in logwood and then covered this sheet with it, so that the logwood would be carried by the sheets, and they would print with the purple background, if that makes sense. I was not expecting these old bed sheets to receive such a beautiful print in return. Often they just look kind of muddied, but these came out really amazing. So here's a little scrap that I used for one of my blankets. Look at that. Look at that massive leaf. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to have to take these scraps and make something out of them. And some of them were bigger than scraps. Like I might be able to make a dress. I wish I liked sewing better, because I might be able to make a dress out of it. But look at that. This is just an old ripped up bed sheet. And I used it to carry the color onto, sorry for the plane noise. But I used it to carry the color onto the sheet, the cotton that I wanted to have color, and I was not expecting them to take these. To just get the prints as well as they did. They're so beautiful. But then, like I said, some of them, let me see. Oh, this one's really nice. I have 3 that are this size. Look at that. So it needs to be something other than just a bed sheet. Although if you look, there's little rips here and there because they really were old bed sheets. But we'll see. Maybe Ashley will have some good ideas of what I can do with them. But I'm gonna play around a bunch, I'm sure. I've said it already. I'm excited about these bags. So I'll tell you when there's more info about them. What else have I been doing? Um, well, so on the natural dyeing front, you may have seen this already on my Instagram feed or on the Fern Fiber feed, but Fern Fiber is closing. It's a good thing. I just want to put that out there. I don't want any rumors started or anything, negative about it. Nikki and I are feeling really positive about this. We've been going for 2.5 years. And I remember when we started, when we made the decision, she was over here and we were, all our families, both our families were getting together, and we did some natural dyeing and we just really loved it. And we had been talking about, well, could we make a business out of this? And I feel like it was in November. It was a chilly day. We took a walk down to the mailbox, which literally is down to the mailbox. It's down the mountain. Walked down and walked back up, and just chatted the whole time about what would it be like? How would it be the perfect business? What would we want to create? And one of the big things to us was that we create it in a way that it felt positive to what we were putting out there, as well as what we were getting out of it. And we didn't ever want it to become either so big or so overwhelming that we resented it. And so over the last couple of years, as it's grown and grown well, we had to continue to reevaluate. Is it going in the direction that we want? Is this what we want out of it? And when it got to the point where we were thinking, this seems like we either need to put in a whole lot more, as in more time, that we need to take this full time, or we need to see if it's something we still want to do. We decided that it would probably be better to actually close it while it was doing well, because she and I both have 2 kids. They're both, you know, her kids are, I think, 8 and 9, 7 and 9, and mine are 8 and 14. Kaya's just starting high school. We're full-time moms, and so there wasn't the option of having a 40-an-hour week business for both of us. And we missed our friendship, because now when we get together, it's all about the business, the dyeing, the finances behind it, like whatever it is we need to do. There's always something related to Fern Fiber when we get together, and we kind of miss just being able to get together and hang out and do friend things together. So, there's many things that go into it, of course, and we love the business, but we decided it was probably time, it was the best time to close it and be able to focus on our families, our other priorities, and all of that. So it's a good thing. We just want to try and find a way to continue to support the local farmers that we were supporting, because we were buying fleeces from local farmers to spin them up at the local mill. So we want to try and figure out how to continue to support them if Fern Fiber is not going to be a business anymore. But, it's starting to rain. Hopefully it'll hold off a couple more minutes. That said, Fern Fiber will be officially closing on September 22nd. That's the first day of fall, and we started the first day of spring, so we thought that would be nice. Until then, right now, everything is 20% off in the store. We have really limited amounts because we've been thinking about this for a while, and we haven't bought in large quantity fleeces to spin up. So we have a limited amount in the store, but if you want anything before we close, it's available in the store at 20% off right now. And thank you. Thank you for everything you guys have done for Fern Fiber. It's been an amazing journey for us and a very positive thing. And we've really enjoyed it. And I think the biggest thing for me personally is how much, again, it was one of those things that helped me connect with people around the world who have similar passions. And that just means so much. We don't live in tribes anymore. We don't live in communities, and we miss that, I feel like. And when we find our tribe, it's such an important thing. So thank you guys. I may need to move. We'll see. I'll keep going for as long as I can. So some of the other things, let's see. We are on to acquisitions. And this relates in some way to eco-printed project bags. My friend Salome, who lives not too far from me, asked if I would print up a little bit of cotton a few weeks back, because she wanted to put a couple of squares in a quilt. So I did. I guess it was about a yard of cotton that I printed for her and sent it off. And I'm hoping she put some of it in the quilt because she sent me a massive, gorgeous eco-printed bag that she made. She took some of the fabric and she made it into a bag for me. Isn't that awesome? I love it. I like this right here. Look at that black walnut. So pretty. So I'm excited. I know exactly what's going to go into this. I have a project I'm going to be casting on soon. So, yeah, very thoughtful. And thank you, Salome. I appreciate it. One thing I wanted to tell you about is a giveaway. So a few months back, Ellie from Skeindeer Knits, she's a knitwear designer. She has a podcast. I'll link all her information. She contacted me because she knows I like doing color work, and she was going to be doing some color work mittens. And so I test knit a pattern for her, and this pattern has now become a part of a group of color work mitten patterns. And she is putting out what the Skeindeer Knits Mitt Pattern Club, I think is what it's called. It's up on Ravelry for sale already, but what it is there's her Selbu mittens, which have already been released, will be the first pattern that you get immediately when you sign up. And then at the beginning of every month, starting September 1st, you will receive another mitten pattern. You won't really know what it looks like until it's done, until it's released. There'll be a secret until the day of release. But they're all really beautiful colorwork mitten patterns. So I can't show you the one that I've knit up yet because it's still a secret. But she has offered to give away a pattern, a club pattern for one of you. So, and I think it's totally worth it. It's 5 different colorwork mitten patterns, and they're gorgeous. They're like Nordic looking. The one that I knit was, I think it was DK. It was a heavier weight. Well, it wasn't fingering weight, so it went up super fast, and it was very easy to follow. The pattern was easy. The charts were easy. So I would recommend it if you're thinking about getting into colorwork. And it's a perfect time to do it because then you'll have a bunch of mittens to give away for the holidays if you wanted. So I'm going to put up a prompt in the Ravelry store, Ravelry group, in the Ninja Chickens Ravelry group, with a question. I'm going to have to think about it. Maybe it'll have something to do with summer. Yeah, your best memory of summer. It doesn't have to be from this past summer. Just a special memory to you, maybe from childhood, maybe something you did with your family. But tell me about a special memory from your summer's past. And I'll think of one too. And if you'll write that in there, I will do a drawing before the next episode. Let's see. I'll have all the details in the group. It'll probably be a little less than 2 weeks that I'll have it up there. And then I'll draw so I can have it announced in the next episode. So if you're interested, head on over to the Ravelry group. I think it's going to be a really sweet pattern, a really sweet release. So let's see. Other things we've been doing. Well, some of you have asked about Goldie because I talked about one of my chickens who was ill a few episodes back. She's still hanging in. She's doing well. We didn't know what was going on. She was the 3rd chicken to seem like she was falling ill. One of them, I think, was egg-bound. One of them was just old. But then with the 3rd one, I was like, okay, we really need to, I can't figure this out. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't some kind of a virus that everybody else could get. So I ended up taking her to the vet. And she said, I can't figure it out. You know, it seems like she's injured, but she doesn't have any wounds. She doesn't seem like she's necessarily sick with an illness. She even took an x-ray to look at her pelvis because it seemed like she was wobbly when she was walking. Nothing. The only thing it showed was that she had a lot of gas. Who knows what that could be from. So we kept her in the bathroom for a while because she had been getting picked on a little bit by some of the other chickens. When they feel or sense that another chicken is weak, sometimes they pick on them to the point of wanting them out of the flock. So she had been picked on and had some wounds on her comb. So I brought her inside and gave her some medicine. I gave her a little bit of fennel because fennel helps move gas. And then we set up a small space for her next to the coop where she could have her own space but still be kind of near the chickens and be outside. And she's been there for the past couple of weeks. And every day she seems to get a little bit better. She's moving around a little faster. She's not as wobbly. She's been eating well and drinking well. She's even started laying eggs again. But I tried again to reintroduce her to the flock, and immediately the same 3 chickens started going after her. So I've separated her again. So I'll continue to try and introduce her over time as she gets stronger and stronger. We don't know what happened, but she's still doing well. So thank you for asking after her. She's just the sweetest thing. She'll come up to you and let you pet her. She likes sitting in my lap. So we're trying hard to get her strong again. What else have we been up to? This is the chit chat section in case you haven't figured that out. We're done the fiber section. We went on a hike this past weekend. My ankle had been feeling really good. This last episode I talked about how I might have broken it, and I ended up going to urgent care and they x-rayed it and it wasn't broken. It was just really badly sprained. I stepped weirdly off my bed while taking a picture. So my ankle felt better really quickly, I thought. So we went for a hike this past weekend. It was a much more strenuous hike than we were expecting, and was a little rough on my ankle, but the view was gorgeous. It was called the Big Butt Trail. Not Butte, but B-U-T-T, Big Butt Trail, which Leaf thought was hysterical. Now you can tell it really is raining a little bit because Maxine comes running in. So what saved the hike, I think, for the kids, because they were like, this is too long, this is too hard, is we ended up doing geocaching. And if you don't know what geocaching is, I'll tell you about it in a minute. Okay, so geocaching. If you haven't done it before, it's a worldwide thing where using GPS, or the Global Positioning System, you can locate little caches. So for example, we were out on the Big Butt Trail, which Leaf laughs every time we say that. I do too. I pulled up my phone and located where I was, and it showed there are 6 different caches along this trail. So, and this is, like I said, worldwide. So you could be in Switzerland and pull it up and maybe find where someone's hidden something. So it would say something like, there is an army lockbox, a large size one, hidden to the left of the trail about 20 feet. So you'd go until you located yourself very close to that position on your GPS, and then you look around. And it's not just right there, like you have to search. Sometimes they're hard to find, and they'll say that. Other people who have found them will log in and say this was extremely hard to find, or we found this one really easily, or whatever. So there were 6 along this trail, and we found all of them, and the kids were having so much fun because it was a bit of a hike. There were a lot of stairs to get up to the view, and we were all pretty tired. So on the way back, the kids just kept my phone, and they'd switch off and on and be like, it's another 273 feet this way, and they'd try and locate that exact position. And then when we got to, it says we're within 5 feet of it, then we could kind of look around and look under tree stumps and look under, leaves and stuff. And we found them all. And then it might just be a little small pill bottle. It might be a big box. It has to be something weatherproof. Then you open it up. Usually there's some kind of a, some kind of a log, so you can write that you found it, and you trade. In there's usually something. It might be necklaces and little pieces of, little toys or whatever. There's always a little something in there, and you bring something to give to it if you want. So Leaf brought some little toys that he had made, and he would give one, and he took back, like an old watch that someone had left or something like that. So it's a lot of fun, and it encouraged them to keep on moving down the trail. And if you haven't tried it before, it's a lot of fun to do, especially with kids, because they really enjoy seeking stuff like that. So that's a lot of fun. The last thing is a tea. I have not made your elder tea for you this week, and I'm sorry about that. It's been really busy, and I was just looking at the elder bushes on the way to bringing Leaf to camp today, and they're almost all gone. I think some birds got to them this year, though I have a bunch still from last year, but I will try and work on that. Things are going to be a little bit busy these next couple of weeks again because I'm not going to be here. I am leaving in 2 days to go up to the North Woods of Maine for the Wool Scouts retreat. It's being put on by Sarah of Fiber Trek. It's the first year for it. And we are going to be out in the middle of 3.5 million acres of woods on a little lake in a camp with no Wi-Fi, no computers, no phones, no nothing. It's going to be out in the middle of the wilderness. Mary Jane Mucklestone's going to be there doing a colorwork class, a colorwork mitten class, I believe. We're going to learn about making Viking chatelaines, I think is how it's pronounced. We're going to be doing fly casting and flint and steel fire starting. It's going to be amazing. I've talked about it a little bit before, but we have to take a float plane to get out there. That's my first time on a float plane. I'm really excited. And I'm going to be doing a botanical eco-printing class. So super exciting, but I'll be gone for about a week and not able to get on any sort of social media. So if you contact me and you don't hear back right away, that's why. But when I come back, I will have lots of video and pictures and stuff for you guys to show you what it was like, and hopefully lots to share. I hope you guys have a beautiful couple of weeks. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye. If that mockingbird won't sing